What's up, y'all? We're back again. Appreciate you guys tuning in the other day. We had to just get that off our chest, but now we are back on normal schedule. It's Fight Court. I'm Dean Thomas. That's Ryan Quinn. Crazy weekend. It's crazy to think about all the stuff that kind of happened just
Yeah.
yesterday. We had Arman Tsarukyan getting into it with Georgio. I don't even know how to say his last name, but we all know him as the Take Me Down $4,000 guy. And then what happened in Mexico City was absolutely kind of crazy. So a lot of stuff to get into. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first, man. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Mexico City first.
All
Let's
right.
work our way down. Um, I gotta be honest with you. I felt the card was a little lackluster. I know a lot of people were saying that there were some good fights. It didn't grab me. And usually I'm the opposite. I'm always no. I forgot the one fight. It was early on in the main card. Silva. And anyway, like everyone was saying that was a great fight. I was like, it was uh but the we'll start with the main event. It looked like, and we had a conversation how this really doesn't happen. We talked about Sean Strickland with yesterday. It looked like Moreno kind of regressed. Uh, I felt that, and lately I've been keeping the sound on for the appropriate times, it feels like. But the announce crew was saying, I think it was Laura Sanko saying how he's working on tightening up his defense. And it looks like he was a little too tight. I used to found he had so much success with his footwork and the mini angles he would create, just being so funky and trying not to get hit. And it seemed like he just uh, threw that aside to just keep that high guard and stay there. And he had a good exchange early on in the fight, and I felt like that was it. Um, because he was standing there like that, he was getting hit, and now he wasn't. The significant strikes weren't getting landed. However, because he was like this, he was able to get moved into a significant strike, I felt like. Plus, the momentum didn't really seem on his side because the volume was up for Kavanagh. But yeah, I felt like it looked like he regressed, almost as if like when you get when you get a pitching coach with baseball and you got a pitcher that has a great fastball curveball combination, and now this pitching coach is like, nah, we're gonna go slider changeup. That's what it looked like. Like he's in the middle of trying to figure out a new style that, he's changing his swing. What do you think?
Well, so man, you hit me with so much that I want to touch
I
on.
did. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to touch on the whole card itself first.
Okay.
And the crazy thing about the card was that it had everything, but I think what it didn't have was this linear congruency that allowed it to keep its momentum throughout the night.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Because the first two fights were knockouts in the first round. The
Mhm.
third fight was fight of the night between the women, and then there was a fight in between that just kind of sucked the air out, and then it ruined the momentum. Or there was too much time in between fights to kind of ruin the momentum. But the fights itself were kind of good. It's just the momentum was blocked because of like either too much time in between or a fight that
Yeah.
just sucked the energy out of the entire building. So I agree with you. Like it's when I think about the fight, because I remember sitting there at the end of the night during the last fight, just yawning, like, yo, I can't wait till this is over. And I think it was just because there was too much time in between some fights. And then just as momentum was starting to get going on the entire night, there'd be a fight that just sucked it out. And you'd be like, oh my God,
Y-
why
y-
now? So yeah, I agree with you.
You know what it is? Is that you hit the nail on the head. You made me think of something, how momentum is so important for these things. Here I am, I'm home, I'm the consumer. I feel like there was like 15 to 20 minutes in between the prelims and the main card because of that. And when that happened, I got up, I put on St. John's basketball, and like I got my attention went elsewhere for that is a big window where you can't lose my. So then that first fight on the main card is that much more important. And even though I was watching, it didn't grab me anymore.
I can't even remember what it was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But I mean, but when you think about it, like a lot of cool shit happened. Like I said, there were knockouts, like first round knockouts. There were knockouts, and then that women's fight between Regina Tarin,
Yeah.
she was she was like a star, man. Like it was her first fight in the UFC, and the Mexican crowd loved her. And she went out there and she put on this barn burner against Karachkate, and it was a great fight. And then so like that happened, and then Bobby or King Green looked amazing against
Yes,
Del
he did. I
Rio,
forgot that. Yeah, I
and
liked it.
so like there was, and then we saw a new star at flyweight with with Lonnie Kavanaugh. So like a lot of good stuff happened, but it's just something about the night that just kept getting like stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. So it didn't turn out to be a memorable night for that reason. But all in all, um, the individual storylines will be the lasting memory that I have on the entire night. Not the entire night as a whole, but the individual storylines. So
Yep.
now, with that being said, let's talk about Brandon Moreno. And me and RJ Clifford, my old co-host from SiriusXM, talked about this last night. Was that the problem with MMA and like fans and people involved in it is they think that the the this game owes them something, fighters something, and that if you just train hard, that it's going to work out for you, or because you were once good, that it's going to work out for you. And more often than not, that's not the case. It's
Yep.
never really the case. Like once you've had your peak, that's kind of it. That's like you get one chance. Like most fighters get one chance. And then everybody goes, "Oh, but look at Charles Oliveira." I'm like, "Yeah, you know, for sure like he's an outlier in this situation where he was able to have multiple like runs and a guy like Orlovsky had multiple runs, but for the most part, you get kind of one chance. And Brandon Moreno kind of had to, like when he got cut from the UFC the first time.
Yep.
And so when you talk about him regressing, it's very possible that he did regress because now he doesn't really you talk about it all the time, like identity. He doesn't really know what his identity is. He's kind of moved around from different camps and the game passed him. Like in the process of him trying to find himself and what he's best at, everybody that already knows what they're good at done passed him.
That's that's it. Yeah. I didn't realize he was jumping camp so much either, and that's not going to help
And it
where he's
wasn't his
at.
fault. And the problem with that,
Yeah, yeah.
again,
Well,
like
the
this game is not fair. The
yeah.
problem with that is it wasn't his fault. Like he was with his camp in Mexico, and like this was when he first came out. Understand this. When he first came out, he was one of the very first like Mexican fighters that the UFC invested in. So like they
Mhm.
were still building. So he found his way to James Krause, and then the whole James Krause situation happened. And then
Right.
then he had to go with Saif Saud, and then he was like doing some stuff in Vegas. So like not all of it was his fault for him bouncing around.
Hmm.
And but again, this game is just not fair. Like you hope that you can whatever decisions that you make for your career, you just hope that it lines up right at the right time because more often than not, most fighters just don't make it.
Right.
And it's not and just because you train hard or you got fans, they think that it just should come to you be for that reason. It doesn't work that way.
This this game, this story rarely ever pans out where it's the fantasy.
Uh-uh.
This is the best fantasy line that went our way as fans that in the last 15 years was Robbie Lawler's knockout exit fight.
Nico
And
Price.
yeah, yeah, like I can't think of anything else, like everything. Yeah, just I forgot what the fight was that I realized like, wow, this game is so unforgiving. Or even when you know what? Look back when Ken Shamrock came out of retirement to fight Tito Ortiz, and everyone was on that WWE wave with fucking Ken Shamrock, and then he comes in and he gets his ass kicked. Like and then it's like the balloon pops, and that was the first reality. Right? Like this is real, and it's a very depiction of how life is. Like it really you got to go with the punches, and you got to take your opportunity when you can.
Man, it's not fair, man. It's not fair. Like a
Mhm.
guy like Brandon Moreno, like you're rooting for him, and he's like probably training really hard and doing everything right, and you just run into a guy who's young and hungry, who's really good, who's looking for an opportunity to show the world what he's made of. And that's what Lonnie Kavanaugh is. And Lonnie Kavanaugh, despite missing an assignment, a defensive assignment against Charles Johnson in
Uh-huh.
one punch, has been absolutely outstanding and essentially perfect inside the octagon. Got knocked out by one punch against Charles Johnson, but came out against Brandon Moreno and stunned on him.
Oh yeah. It's funny you said how he missed the assignment. And by round two, that's what I was saying watching that fight. I'm like, this kid understands the assignment because he got in, he realized what Brandon was doing, and he was just touching him up, scoring, and then he had a really big combination in round two. And then it was almost by round three when Brandon was decided to wrestle. He was like, "Well, I'm up 3 rounds at least, you know." So,
Yeah, yeah.
I like he knew like his fight IQ is clearly there. He's got cage poise. There's a bright future with that young man.
For sure. I do question, he's still young. You can still tell like he didn't know how to fully get off the cage and
Yeah,
like I thought he could have put Brandon Moreno away. Thank God he
yeah,
didn't. Like I mean, again, if there is a storybook ending, it is that Brandon Moreno didn't get carried out on a stretcher, right? He didn't get
yeah,
knocked out because that could have possibly happened. But he did chew up a lot of time on the cage against the fence, and Lonnie Kavanaugh allowed that to happen. I think in order for him to really compete against the better guys, he's got to work that out. Like he's got to find ways to keep his activity level highs and not allow somebody to chew that type of time up on him. Because I mean, if Brandon Moreno was, I think he was ranked six at the time. That puts Lonnie at 6 or 5, depending on how that shakes out.
right,
But I mean, just some really good matchups for him.
dude. I was just trying to look at some stuff here for the matchups for him. Let's see here. What would you do for him next if he's ranked fifth? Tatsura and is locked up with Van.
Maybe give him the loser of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Maybe
Because
give
what's
him the
because
so and it
Kyoji's kind
also
of waiting.
depends on how Pantoja shakes out. Like if Pantoja can come back, he would obviously get the next title shot.
Hmm.
And there's just so much talent in there. I mean, you got Manel Kopp still hovering around there. There's also Brandon Royval who would make a good matchup for him. So like
Yeah.
there's a lot of compelling matchups for him. And there was so I'm on this website called Three Punch Convo, and they were talking about is flyweight the best division in the UFC right now. And there's a compelling argument for that. I still think bantamweights and lightweights still kind of will still are a little bit more compelling, but
Hmm.
the flyweights, man, with what we saw last night, really, really put themselves in everybody on everybody's radar.
I think that the flyweights will eventually take over. We're finally starting to see some devastating hits in flyweights, some knockout punches. When they first brought the flyweight division to the UFC, I remember, do you remember a fighter named Matt Lee? Good friend of
Yeah.
mine. He's a friend.
Uh-huh.
So he's like these flyweights, they're like bees when they fight. They just go buzz, buzz, buzz. There's no like and now we're starting to see that shift where there's power behind, there's some juice and stank on it. So I think that that's going to add a lot to the flyweight division. I like what the flyweight division has to offer. I'm still with bantamweights as well. I think that division is just so deep. Um, but the flyweights are coming up,
Dude,
especially with this last year.
that Imanol Rodriguez,
Yeah.
again, he missed one assignment too, but the
Hmm.
fact that he was able to bounce back from that, man, he looked so fast
Hmm.
and powerful last night. I was like, yo, this guy looks so the all night I couldn't take this image out of my head. He looked like Mexican Peyton Talbot. Or
That's good.
or I was thinking, a Mexican with a black daddy. But man, did he look fast and powerful and promising and just he looked really good, man. I was like, yo, this kid's gonna be good. He's gonna be really good.
So, what did you think of the co-main event?
Um, that
Chito
was
Vera,
Cheeto and
David
David
Martinez.
Martinez. Again, same thing with Cheeto. Like Cheeto, you know, he did everything I think that was in his ability.
Yeah.
I think we seen Cheeto's ceiling. We seen it, and he did everything in his ability. Like I saw him on the bus this morning, on the getting back. He was just like, I think he knew, like, yo, that's
Hmm.
it. That's I've already had my run, man. Like, and that's it. And that's just what it is, man. Like he can't be upset about that. Like, because it's not promised to you just because you train hard and you go to Big Bear and you run 40 miles a week, like Macy Chiasson says she did. Like, it's not promised. Like that doesn't mean you're still gonna win.
No.
Not promised. And I think we've seen the best of Cheeto, and and that's just what it is.
I think so too, and that sucks. Because I like watching Tito. Cheeto. I think he's so much fun. But it's almost like a lot of times with these unique fighters, with the way they roll out a fight, their unique game plans. Like Cheeto, he was so good at not doing damage or like just chewing up the first 3 minutes of the round and then doing serious damage in the last 2 minutes of the round. And it's like we saw Martinez last night. He got a little greedy in those first couple of minutes to score. And then the last 2 minutes, he saw, he just lateral movement, just don't get hit. I already outscored him. Um, and I don't see Cheeto. I mean, maybe his lateral footwork got a little bit better, but he's still behind. And I don't see him. What's he gonna do? I mean, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Is he gonna start taking people down? Like, what?
Yeah, it's just what it is, man. And
Yeah,
so Michael Bisping was talking about like Cheeto had the very cliche, stereotypical trajectory of a fighter, and that was he would, hanging out with celebrities and doing all that. Like I think he did the runway in Rome or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
hanging out with models and things like that. And for him, I think he was, I don't know if he was saying that that's not the right thing to do, and it sounds like it's not the right thing to do. So I have a hot take on this
Okay.
because I watched Tyron go through this, where Tyron was hanging out with rappers and doing this, that, and the third, and living his dream. And when it was over, it was over. And you might have even attribute the shortness of it to that. But I said, but now I look at it and go, man, your career as an MMA fighter is not really promised. And part of your dream to be a good MMA fighter is so that you can have those luxuries, right? Part of it
Yeah.
is like you want to be the best fighter, but then you like, yo, you want to hang out with celebrities and you want to live that life a little bit. And to be able to do that and get the opportunity to do it, I think you should do it when you can. Because your
Mm-hmm.
career is not going to be promised to you. Because when it's over, you will not be hanging out with them guys. They
One
will
th
not be calling you.
1,000%. You gotta, you really gotta live life. There's no.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, you just reminded me, and I know I shared this, and when Glover Teixeira was on here, I had him share this story that he told us about Lou Ferrigno. On the 25th anniversary, they interviewed him for that Pumping Iron documentary with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they said, if you could change one thing, what would you change? And they were expecting something about training. He goes, oh, well, we were at a competition in South Africa. It was all us, all the boys, and there was this beautiful beach, and it was supposed to be like a world-renowned beach. Everyone knew about it. Everyone went to the beach. I stayed home, and I stayed back at the hotel, and I trained. I went to the gym and trained. I didn't see the beach. He goes, I would have went to that beach. That's what he said he would have changed. Like, what do you mean? What went to the beach? He goes, I was never beating Arnold. I had 5 years, and I was never beating him.
Yeah.
I wish I took more advantage to see these things and live that life when I had the opportunity.
I 1000% agree with that. And I had that conversation with Tyron and we talked about it and he was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, man, maybe I shouldn't have." And I said, "No, man. I was proud. Now that looking back at it, I'm proud of you for taking advantage of those opportunities
Yeah.
because they're not here for you now. Like all them and like that's as a young kid, like you wanted that.
I
Like
remember
that's
seeing
part of your
Tyron.
dream."
I was, my wife's a Cardinals fan. They're from St. Louis too, and I remember seeing him at like throwing out the first pitch, and in his Cardinals jersey and his hat, and he's on MLB's Instagram, and I'm like, that's awesome, like,
That's and I think as a coach, and this is again like this is a probably a terrible way to look at it, but as a
mm,
coach, I think I have to start embracing that more for the athletes to be like, hey man, listen, I get it, man. You want to train really hard and you have to, but
mm,
when these other extracurricular activities come around, like if that was ever a part of your goal was to do that type of stuff, you got to do it now because you're eventually going to lose and somebody's just going to be better than you and you're not going to beat them.
yeah,
And then when you start losing, these opportunities are not going to be there for you because no one's going to call you.
yep,
Only people that's going to be there is us. And
hmm
we here for you now anyway. So go hang out with the celebs. Leave us for a little bit. Go hang out with the celebs. Go live your life. Go enjoy that stuff because that's going to be really short-lived. But if you don't do it now, it will never happen.
yeah. Plus, at the end of the day, you could fit in an hour of training anywhere in the day, you
For
know.
sure, for sure, for sure. Now, I'm not telling you be lazy and just be a, just be a junkie, but what
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying is,
Rocky 3.
yeah, yeah, but you do have to enjoy the fruits of your labor while you still have them,
Yeah.
because
Why are you
once
doing
it's
it?
gone, yeah, once it's gone,
Hmm.
you'll never get it back. And no matter, and it's going to be too late to be like, oh, I got to train hard. I got to train hard, because like that's not going to matter at that point. Like
Hmm.
we done figured you out, homie. Your your career done peaked and you done. It's a
Yeah.
wrap for you. All right, so the night was good in Mexico City, I thought. Well, so again, in singular moments it was good, and you obviously wasn't too impressed with the whole card either, but um anything else, any other takeaways?
Yeah. Rumble at RAF. The
Yeah,
Arman Tsarukyan and Georgio Poullas. Uh, so well, have you
I
seen it
saw it.
yet?
Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
it.
All
I've
right.
seen it. Yeah.
Um, I you just can't punch somebody after the bell. Like I just now it sucks because I don't the way it unfolded, Giorgio was being a little prick. But you can't punch somebody after the bell. It's not. What if he broke his hand? You know, like
Yeah.
it's just now. Like first off, there was two slaps that were exchanged. One from Giorgio, a little bit later from Armin. They both got penalized. But then after that, Giorgio was losing or whatever, and he was giving these really dickhead like clubs to the back of the head, like when he was trying to tie up with him, and that sucks. But there's malicious intent behind it. But at the end of the day, on top of it, Armin won. It's like,
Yeah, if you
was that
winning, why you
yeah?
tripping?
Is that really necessary? Like you won, you know? Yeah, it was unfortunate because there's some good momentum behind RAF right now, and I mean. Actually, it's interesting because one of the promoters behind it is Eric Bischoff. He used to be the promoter for WCW. And I think it was Ariel Helwani brought up to him. You wrote a book called Controversy Creates Cash because you like this stuff. And he kind of joked. He goes, "Well, this was too long." No, but all seriousness aside, he goes, "This isn't something that we were trying to do." And then the other guy stepped in. We're trying to be family friendly, and this isn't. This does not promote that. Um, we'll see what happens. I wish it didn't happen. It was unnecessary, but here we are.
No, I think it was great for their organization actually. I mean, we're talking about it today.
Yeah, we
It's
are. We are.
it's kind of really it's I think it's great for their organization.
I woke up
But
to three texts from it.
yeah, I think it's great for their organization. I thought it was great for Georgie, and I thought it was a it's going to be a nightmare for Armin.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare for Armin because Armin, everybody thought that he was just in hot water from pulling out of a fight. And
Hmm.
I always told people it was deeper than that. I said it's not just that, man. It's a lot of different things. He's not a big ticket seller, and he can't be trusted at times, right? He's kind of a liability. He punched a fan, he headbutted Dan Hooker. He's kind of a liability.
Hmm.
And now he's in this situation where he punches a guy. So it's a nightmare for PR for him. It's a nightmare
Yeah.
for him, and it's gonna be hard to look at the UFC in the eye and be like, "Hey, listen, I can be your champion." And then again, we'll say, "Oh, well, what about Connor and John Jones? They do a lot of crazy stuff, but they're not,
They were
regardless,
established.
they not bringing in the money. You know what I'm saying? They not
Yeah.
bringing in
Yeah.
the money like Armin can. So like
Hmm.
it's all about a matter of how much you're willing to have that liability. Are you willing to have that liability? And for Connor, yeah, because Connor, like anytime Connor fights, you're gonna get 5 million people watching. But
Yep.
Armin Tsarukyan, like, yes, we love Armin. I think he's probably the best lightweight in the world, but he's not gonna get 5 million people to watch him fight.
Nope. And Connor and Connor and John, when their public bullshit came out, it was after they were well established and they were on that stardom level. Armin is still trying. He's still fighting to get there, and he can't afford the setbacks.
Yeah.
Um, Man, what's going on, man? Like, it's like, why does he just so? And this makes me wonder two things: Are they going to let him compete in RAF going forward? Are they gonna be restrictive of all their athletes competing in RAF going forward? Because that's part of the biggest draw with RAF is these UFC athletes competing in it.
Well, I mean, one, that says a lot about the UFC, is
Hmm.
that when wrestling is headlined by two UFC guys. Well,
Yeah,
obviously both of them wrestled before, but Henry Cejudo and Uriah Faber, and then even
yeah,
so it's very telling as to how impactful the UFC is. But it's also an organization where the UFC is allowing their athletes to compete in. So don't ruin that. Don't ruin that
yeah,
because
exactly.
like UFC's not they're not letting these guys compete almost anywhere. So like,
No.
don't ruin that opportunity. If RAF is, doing big things and paying guys and they're having opportunities for different fighters, let's not ruin that. And it's just unfortunate that Arman has this code in which he feels like I can't let you disrespect me.
Yeah.
And my man was always talking about how many brothers would not be in jail right now if they didn't always have to be like, yo, he disrespected me. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's pretty funny.
how much trouble would you stay out of if you didn't always have to prove, yo, you disrespected me? Because that's what it is.
You
That's
just
what it
remind
is,
me
man.
of, you ever see the movie Anger Management? Well, I mean, the movie's so old now, but
Yeah.
John Turturro goes, hey, he's looking at me funny. And the guy's blind with with glasses
Yeah.
on. And then he walks up to him, the guy's bald. He just smacks him back of the head. Hey, you got something against people with hair? Like,
But I'm telling you, that's what it is, man. Like he felt disrespect. Like
yeah.
he's in a match and the
He
dude is
won.
physical. You just get physical back, but you don't
Yeah.
gotta punch him. The
Yeah.
whole Dan Hooker thing, no need to headbutt him.
You see that the reason why it's so weird too is because so he got clubbed in the head, then he won the match. A bit of time went by, so he was just like balling this up. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him after the bell. I'm gonna hit him. Like like he was. This was getting meditated while he was going through. It's just dude's a hothead, man.
Well, and the worst part of that is I think Georgie, somebody said he left on a stretcher.
Yeah, I saw, but he was man. That might have been precautionary. He was in his. He was like this in a neck brace. Like like he was.
Oh, that's more than precautionary. That's legal.
Yeah. Well,
That's signs of I'm suing this dude. This dude hurt me.
well, it's
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I mean, he was like talking on. He sounded fine, but he had the neck brace on, and he was in a stretcher too. So, but I mean, afterwards when they were breaking him up, he was standing and everything.
Mhm.
But no, it was a mess. It was a mess.
But I mean, in terms of legality, like if it wouldn't hold in, criminal,
Yeah,
but like in terms of civil,
medical bills.
yeah, in terms of civil, like he punched me and he kneed me in the head.
Mhm. I can't. I have emotional distress. I can't go out and YouTube challenging
Yeah.
people to take me down for $1,000.
He punched me and he kneed me in the head. Yeah,
He did knee him.
again.
That's right.
So it's again, poor Arman Tsarukyan. Like we'll probably be robbed of his moment in MMA history because of this stuff. Because
It
this
didn't
could
even
have been
happen to
his great
MMA.
moment. Because he's probably the best lightweight in the world, and we'll be robbed of his moment in MMA history because have to deal with all this stuff.
And all this, and we want to see him fight for that belt too. That's the hood
Yeah,
thing. Like, and he's making it hard to give. Like, he's getting in his own way, and it
yeah.
sucks.
I mean, he already beat Charles.
Yeah.
He potentially could have beaten Max. He was the biggest threat to Ilya
Hmm.
and the biggest threat to Islam if he wanted, if Islam was still there or if he wanted to go. So like it's unfortunate that this is happening for him, but let that be a lesson to you kids.
Keep it cool.
Self-control, self-control and discipline with a lack of it will ruin your life. It'll ruin
Hmm.
your opportunities in life.
Absolutely will.
So RAF 6, thank you for the moments. And Aljamain Sterling, congratulations on your
Yeah.
win over Benson Henderson. And that's about it.
Yeah, that's it. Next week we got, was it 325, 326?
Yeah, 326 BMF Max and Charles.
I think I'm starting to lean Charles.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm breaking down now. Like Max has been in all these bangers. Like not that he's never fought a grappler, but I feel he's just so banger mode. And
Mhm.
Charles hasn't been looking to be a banger in a long time. He's fought bangers before with Gaethje and Poirier. Obviously, Max has the upper hand. But I think that if he, especially if they get if Max is not careful with keeping distance, Charles will get in and tangle him up. And
That's a good assessment.
I think that there's plenty of time to do that.
I'm still going Max. Actually, you know what I'm doing? I'm so bad at picking that I think from now on, I'm only picking favorites. Because if something goes wrong, I'm like, hey, he was the favorite.
He was the favorite. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think
I've
I'm
been pretty
only
cold
picking favorites.
myself, so I can't even doubt you on that.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard to pick fights. Is Max the favorite right now?
I haven't even seen. I'm sure he is though.
Well, I'm good. Well, I'm going with whoever the favorite is.
Yeah. All right.
Max is the favorite. I'm going with the favorite. That's it. I'm not trying to be too analytical. I'm not trying to decipher the X's and O's anymore. I'm just going with whoever the favorite is because
All right.
there's just too much unknown information to try to be too analytical about it because I don't have all the information. So whatever the betting odds say, that's where I'm going.
How do you feel about DeRitter and Bahio?
I got to go Bahio on that one, regardless of what the betting odds say. And I think he probably should be a favorite.
I yeah.
Bahio.
I not that I ever usually look at the every once in a while the odds catch my eye. Um I'm tossed I'm leaning DeRitter.
Really?
Yeah, I think that he just seems so strong lately. I know his last fight was not that, but he just seems so strong lately. I like the way he mixes up his striking, and he could clinch enough to create distance. I like the Ritter in that fight.
Yeah, I think he's too slow.
That is a total possibility. That is true too.
I think he'll be too slow. I think the movement of Kyle Bahio is going to give him a lot of problems.
Good
He's gonna
point.
be into that. But watch what happens.
Yeah,
Watch what
watch.
happens.
We're both wrong. Everything's a
Yeah,
draw.
yeah, watch what happens. But yeah, it's good fight though. I like the matchmaking in that. Good fight. I think
Mhm.
UFC's did a really good job of matching them up. But Ryan, appreciate you as always. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And fans, thank you very much for riding with us. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe and tell your friends. On that note, this court is adjourned.